Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin in Northern Maine. Welcome to my reloading room today. Let's talk about self-defense, accuracy, all of that. I got a feeling when it comes to self-defense, it's a lot like the deer hunter that takes his shotgun or rifle down off the wall just before deer season, blows the dust off it, and away he goes out into the woods to knock down a deer with a rifle that he has not shot in more than a year or longer. You know, who knows? You know, I see it all the time when you go to the coffee shop, or if you go to that Saturday morning hunter's breakfast. How many hunters in there have just dragged their rifle out for the first time? You know, it's opening day, Saturday morning, so Friday night they go get their rifle, they take it out, they put it in the truck, they grab their orange coat, and they're deer hunting for a month. Well, that's not a practiced deer hunter or a very accurate deer hunter. And I have a feeling, just because of people's nature, I have a feeling that a lot of people that have a pistol in their nightstand or have a pistol in their vehicle, and I hope that you are not foolish enough to have a pistol in your glove box on top of the registration. Whoop! What did I say? Foolish enough to have a pistol in the glove box on top of the registration? Yeah, that's what I said. What happens when you get stopped by the police and he walks up to the car and he says, "I want to see your license and registration"? Is your registration in the glove box under that pistol? What does it look like to that officer when you reach in that glove box to get that registration? All he sees is you're reaching for a pistol. That's what I mean by I hope you're not foolish enough to keep a pistol in your glove box. But that's not what today's video is about. But we can call that a little bonus tip for your safety. Have yourself a cup of coffee. Let's talk about accuracy. My grandfather, boy, I was probably, I can't even tell you how old I was. I was young. But let's talk about the bow and arrow. I wanted to go bow hunting, and I did. He said I wasn't ready for bow hunting until I could put 4 arrows in a dollar bill. So that's how I practice, and that's what I practiced. Well, I think that carries over into your ability to self-defend yourself as well. I won't know about a $4. It's close. Like I say, I don't know about putting 4 bullets into a dollar bill, but that's not that far-fetched. You should be able to put 5 bullets right here in a 5-inch circle. If you can't put 5 bullets in a 5-inch circle, then in my world and in my thought process, you're not ready to carry a concealed weapon or to have a weapon at all to take out, because you're responsible for that bullet. Once that bullet leaves that barrel, you're responsible for it. And if you hit a bystander in the background or anything, you know, you're responsible for that bullet. So you want that bullet to go where you aim. If you aim for right here, the spinal cord is in the back. Everything that's going to knock a person down is right here. We're not talking a hot shot. We're not talking, you know, kill. We're not talking kill. We're talking self-defense. We're talking I needed to stop the threat. I needed to stop the threat. This stops the threat. So if you can't hit that spot, you know, you're not stopping the threat. If you wound him If you wound somebody in the arm or any other part of the body, that threat is still there. So that's why being able to hit a 5-inch circle right here, right where this button is, will stop the threat. And that's when it comes to my family members, and when it comes to how I teach my family members how to shoot, that's what we're talking about. And we're not necessarily shooting a bullseye. We're not shooting a bullseye target because there's not too many criminals or somebody that's going to be coming at you that has a bullseye on this spot. So it really doesn't make much sense to practice on a bullseye. It makes more sense to practice on a man-sized paper target with no bullseye, and then you put five bullets in that 5-inch circle in this area. Now you can go to Midway USA and they sell 30-inch targets. That's a man target with no bullseye, with pointing a gun, so that you can train your brain. It's just like deer hunting. When you deer hunt, you need to train your brain not to look at the rack of the deer, but look for the kill zone. Self-defense is no difference. When I'm looking at a deer, you saw in my videos, I shot a buck this year. I looked at the rack at the very beginning. I saw it was a buck. I saw it was a buck that I wanted. And then instantly, I'm looking for what's going to stop that deer. I'm looking for where am I going to place that bullet that's going to stop that deer in his tracks. Well, to me, self-defense is the same thing. I know there's a threat. I know I'm under some kind of danger, or my family is in some kind of threat and they're under some kind of danger. So where am I going to put that bullet that's going to stop the threat? And that's right here. And that's why I think these man targets with no bullseyes on them is a good thing for you to practice on. Because then you're not practicing on a bullseye, because he doesn't have a bullseye on his chest, or her, or whatever the threat is. There's no bullseye there. So instead you're practicing, you're training your brain, you're training your fingers, you're training how to hold that gun, rifle, whatever, pistol, to be able to take down the threat, to stop that threat from being able to fire on you again, or come at you with a knife or whatever. It's just something to think about. But here, we're going to get back to where we first began in this, and a same comparison with deer hunting. If you haven't practiced, if you don't take your handgun to the shooting range, now I'm going to say at least once a month. If you haven't practiced in the last 30 days, then you're backing up. Same thing with my rifles. If I don't shoot throughout the summer leading up to hunting season, I'm backing up. That's why I reload. That's why I'm sitting in this reloading room. Because without ammunition, I can't practice. Without practice, I'm backing up. So even though that there is an ammo shortage in this country right now, you're limited to what you can buy, you still need to save your pennies, save your money, and you still need to stock up on ammunition so that you can have this ability to go to the shooting range and practice, whether it's with your pistol or whether it's with your rifle or your shotgun. You know, if you want to be proficient at shooting birds, you need to go practice shooting at birds. If you want to be proficient with your rifle to take down deer, then you need to go to the range and practice the same kind of shot to take down a deer. Same thing with rabbit hunting. Rabbit hunting is the best practice there is for learning how to shoot a deer. Rabbits running through the woods the same way as a deer does. So if you get good at shooting that rabbit on a run, you're going to be good at shooting a deer on the run. And that's basically where I learned how to shoot deer, was chasing rabbits. Well, it's the same thing in self-defense. If you haven't practiced at least once a month, you are backing up. And I say that as kindly as I can, because I really do think that there's a lot of people that don't practice with their pistols at all whatsoever, or even take the time probably to study the bullets and figure out what's the best bullet for my handgun or for my whatever. And there's a lot of bullets out there. There's a lot of different style bullets, stuff like that. I will in the near future, I will go over some of the bullets for self-defense that I have been studying. Carrying a pistol for me is new as of the last 3 years. I started carrying a pistol when the country started to go nuts in a handbag, is when I started to carry a handgun on me just about full time. It is very rare to catch me without some kind of a firearm as of the last 3 years. And with that, I have studied ammunition, basically because of this room. I have studied ammunition. Now I am studying factory ammunition, stuff like that, and I'm going to share that in the near future with this reloading series. This reloading series is not all about just how to reload, but let's look at some bullets. Let's see what they're doing, and maybe figure out what's the best bullet for your pistol or your rifle, and go from there. Bigger, faster, heavier, all of that is not necessarily the best bullet that you could use for deer hunting or the best bullet that you can use for self-defense. So that's kind of where I'm headed in this video today, is get your guns out, go to the shooting range, practice, stop spending money on the different toys for your gun. Bigger is not necessarily badder. You can have all the toys you want and whistles to put all over that gun, but if all over your pistol, I'm talking about laser lights, I'm talking about flashlights, talking about everything you can strap onto that pistol, none of it means absolutely anything if you can't hit the broadside of a barn door. So instead of spending your money on all them gadgets and toys and shiny objects, spend your money on ammunition, go to the shooting range, and practice. And practice at a realistic distance. Just because you can hit the bullseye at 40 yards doesn't really mean anything at all, because most of the time the threat's not going to be at 40 yards. It's going to be much closer. And a lot of your pistols, I got a little one back there, you wouldn't hit the broadside of a barn door at 40 yards with that little pistol. And once you start stepping out there with your pistols, you're going to find that most of you probably cannot hit the broadside of a barn door after you get out more than 10 or 15 feet. And if you don't believe me, then go out and give it a try. That's where, when you start stepping out there, you start separating the men from the boys, and you start separating the women from the girls, and we got to be even there. But anyways, once you step out there with your pistol, you're going to find out hitting the target has just become much harder. So hey, so have one last sip of coffee with me, and I will see you next week in the video.